afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. Welcome to episode 70 of the One Perspective to Another podcast. Another milestone episode. 70 fucking episodes in. Finally got some consistency, I guess. Been doing this shit for a little while. On this episode, I'm going to be talking about self-esteem. Disney Plus. Been on that all fucking week. Then just the work, the grind, as always. Then going hand in hand with that about like the people around you and the people that don't know you with becoming an overnight celebrity and shit. And then just learning about the world and how hard it is to explain what you know about your life. And then last but not least, living with gratitude, Super Soul Sunday vibes going into the week. Into Monday, whenever you listening, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, whatever day, just making sure your next day has some gratitude filled into it. And shout out to all the sponsors. Shout out to everybody who listens. Thank you for listening. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, tell two friends to tell two friends. And I appreciate you for listening to the randomness of my mind, the diary of my mind, the random thoughts of my mind, the poetry, the writing, the videos, the whole Opta perspective coming on the end of 2019, going into 2020, going into a new decade. Past 10 years have just flown by. I've been doing Opta for 9 years, so it kind of goes hand in hand now. Finally got my place and finally got my footing, just doing what makes me happy, doing what makes me fulfilled, bringing my perspective and just trying to help the world, trying to help people, because there's a lot of fucked up shit out here and we could be doing a lot worse. So with that, I'm going to hop right into it and go into some self-esteem. The good ego versus the bad ego. Heard it on Charlemagne the God podcast about the good ego versus the bad ego. He recommends a lot of good books to read. But yeah, I think for damn sure, my self-esteem definitely comes from my mother. There are a lot of people just getting on BART and just hearing people and seeing people and just being on social media and seeing people's reactions to things. Like, a lot of people lack self-esteem. A lot of people get hurt and offended by the things of people's opinions, yet they know nothing about them. It is how you're perceived. I did my video about how you're perceived, just trying to keep everything cohesive, but the way people perceive you is just a slither of what they know about you. So it's like, why does that one thing about you and their opinion sways you so much? Like, people got to cut that shit out. Like, you getting on social media and you getting likes, you getting comments of the fuck yous and you ain't shit, you ugly, you fat, you this, you that. Like, I don't know what it takes for people to just live your life, to not let negative things affect you. Like, I guess it's one of the hardest things in the world to do because people are still affected by it to this day. People are still manufacturing their lives to be able to be okay with how they're perceived on social media. And I don't want to say it's a problem. It's just something that's really interesting to view and to watch and to see how people react and how your outward appearance or what you say or what you do is so triggering to somebody else and so lost in translation to what you're trying to achieve with your own life. Like, they don't run your life. You do. You control your choices. They ain't got nothing to do with anything that you're doing. So I don't always understand why it affects people so much. I get it. Like, you see it's there. It's instant. You get instant gratification. You can get instant negativity too, I guess. But I just want to give a shout out again to my mom for giving me this knowledge and this information to know that, like, only you control your life. You control your narrative. You make sure you do what you got to do. And the rest of the world, if they fuck with you, they fuck with you. If they don't, they don't. Then, yeah, it's really weird to just see how people do that and how people attack people and how people take it. We got to teach our children and our peers and our people to just be strong within your own skin. But yeah, that's what I got against the good ego and the bad ego. Like, it's okay to to have an ego as long as it propels you forward. You got to challenge it. If you believe in serenity, it's the perfect balance. I'm a firm believer in balance. I got a fucking tattoo of it. Like, it's the world we live in. It's not good or bad. It is all of it, and it's everything encompassed. Moving along. Shout out to the most powerful company in the world, Disney Plus. Just got released. Shout out to The Mandalorian, one of the greatest shows that I've seen in a long time. It just keeps me enthralled. It makes me want to go into the wormhole about the backstory about the Mandalorian and all this lore and all this legend. It's interesting because I've never really been a big Star Wars fan, but this little segue into his backstory or their backstory and their history is very intriguing. First 2 episodes are out on Disney Plus. Check them out if you haven't seen them. But just the overall cosmicness of Disney Plus, the cartoons, the movies, the TV shows, the Pixar shorts. It's just a great time. The Darkwing Duck, the everything, the Tailspin, like everything from my childhood has been brought back to life on a fucking app. $7.99 is well worth. $6.99 is well worth it. Just keeps you entertained. It's a nice little thing to go to sleep to if you want to watch some old cartoons, you want to watch some old movies. Every classic is on there. Everything that you could think of is there, and it's fucking amazing. So shout out to Disney Plus. Shout out to Disney. Shout out to Pixar. Shout out to Nat Geo if you just want to watch some weird ass videos of the world. It's fucking dope. I love it. So shout out to Disney Plus, The Mandalorian. I hate that the episodes only come out weekly. They need to be like Netflix and just come out all at once so we can just binge watch it. But it keeps people coming back. They want to get themselves and them numbers up. So shout out to them once again. Then next, I'm going to be talking about celebrity and the work and the grind of becoming an overnight celebrity. There is no such thing. I think I've talked about this before. And a very dear friend of mine is on that path right now of being an overnight celebrity. But the thing about it is people don't, like with social media and the self-esteem, like people don't see what you put into building yourself. It's a lot of those memes where they show the mountaintop and they just show the tippy top, but they never show the roots. They never show the underneath of the blood, sweat, and tears that you went through to get to this tippy top of the mountain. And that's what perspective is. It's knowing an individual or knowing a person or knowing a team and knowing their sacrifice and what they put in to get to this moment, to get to that achievement. It takes hard work. So when people say or call you an overnight celebrity, like there is no such thing. You've been putting in this work for years. You've been putting in this time for years. You've been doing this shit when nobody's watching. You've been just doing everything in your power to make sure that you fulfilling your dream, your happiness, whatever it may be. Even for me, like I've been doing like everything revolving around one perspective to another for the past 9 years. And that's my blood, sweat, and tears. It's something that fulfills me. It's something that brings me happiness. So when you see people pop, like just know, like they didn't just get put on. They didn't just make this shit happen because one day they just got discovered. That shit don't happen no more. People grind out here. People do whatever it takes. Shout out to the Avengers. Whatever it takes to get their name out there, to get their passion out there, to get their work out there, to get their dreams out there. So when you see people, don't judge them for what they are in the moment and be jealous. Give them love, send them prayers, send them all the positivity that they can or you can, to make sure that everything is good in their world. So when you see them people, salute them. Give them everything that they are deserving of, because they put in a lot of work that you probably never see or never know about until they get to the point where they want to be and they could tell you about it and drop them jewels on your crown. And then from that, talking about how your friends versus the rest of the world. Like a lot of people just be in my own mind, just thinking about dreams and how like it's only really one person's dream that really gets put on. Then it's the other people who just help with your dream. And that's how work happens. That's what happens at your job. That's what happens at work. Unless you're your own boss and you have your own dream, but you still got to hire people or get people to help you to accomplish your dream. You don't do anything in this life alone. And that's what I've been really focusing on, is the balance of like the things you do by yourself and the things that you need help with. And it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to get in your mind and make sure that you ask the right questions. And if you're not an expert, get an expert. If you're not the person who does this, if you're better at executing production, then production is better for you. If you're better at not good at being the star, then go get a star and produce that star. Be an executive producer. That's the things that I've been asking myself and questioning myself. Not questioning myself, but just asking the questions of who does this? What does this? How can I do this better? Like a lot of the conversations with self, like I said a couple episodes ago, just making sure you're getting inside your own mind and asking those questions and making sure that you're achieving your goal. And with that, like these are the conversations that I have with myself. These are the conversations that make it hard for me to figure out the things that I want to talk to on a weekly. Because like I write notes and I take notes on everything, my thoughts, and jog them down, write them down in notes, write them on a piece of paper. And I create my episodes throughout the week of this things I see and things I hear, conversations I have with people. And it's hard to explain the things that you go through in life and putting it in a form that's digestible to people. That's why I started doing this podcast, I guess you could say. I wanted to get my thoughts out, because writing is just one form. Doing a video is another form. But like a podcast can be a long form. It could be as long as you want it to be. It could be extensive as you want to be. And this is how I operate. This is how I talk. This is how I get through shit. This is how I understand myself and other people. Like you talk, you communicate, you ask questions. And this is just the aftermath of me, figuring all this stuff out and just getting inside of my mind and realizing it's hard to explain the things that you want to get the world to know. That's why you got to take your time. You got to practice. You got to find your outlet, and then you just got to talk. You got to speak. You got to share to the world what you know. And that's what I've been doing. That's what I've been keep trying to do. Going into 2020, I'm going to keep doing it. And just listening to my own advice. It's not about what other people say. It's about what brings you joy and fulfillment. And this brings me joy and fulfillment because I done seen a lot of shit in this world. I done seen a lot of people, met a lot of different people, understanding a lot of different things. And as much as we want to talk about racism and just like shit with Colin Kaepernick, shit with Kardashian, shit with the world, first world countries, third world countries. Like it's so many, I'm trying to work on this thing where it's the tiers of perspective. And there's the bigger world where it's all those big stories that really don't have shit to do with us. Then it's the stories that affect us, or the perspectives that really affect us. And then it's like those secondary perspectives that you have. If you have a moral conscience or a moral code or something, then it will affect you, because nobody wants to see anybody hurt in this world. Nobody wants to see anybody wronged. But at the same time, like the perspective is a lot of this shit don't affect you. You can say it in the moment because a lot of opinions are going to affect people, but you really don't care, because we all know the world is still going to move. The world is not going to change in a drastic way. We're just inching towards change, or getting worse or getting better every single day. And there's nothing you can do to change that. Like you can live your life with the correct respect that you want to the world, and that's all you can do. Because all this shit with Colin Kaepernick and with President Trump, like, yeah, it affects your feelings, but it don't affect you. It doesn't affect how you're living your life unless you choose for it to be. Because sex is still going to sell. Money is still going to move no matter what happens. So do you want to live your world justly or not? That's the question. That's all it takes. That's all it has to do is just move like that. That's what perspective is. Knowing when and where to do what. Situational awareness. I talk about that shit all the time. And moving into that with gratitude, like just live your life to the best of your abilities and your happiness and bring joy to whatever it is that you need in your life. That's what living a life is. Help others. Like, I just chose to be on the other side. Like, I don't want to see people get hurt. I don't want to see people frowned upon and just doing stupid shit. Like, I don't want to see people who are hurt more people. I don't want to see people. I just want people to find serenity. But I'm also not a fool, and I know that there are fucked up shit in this world. I just don't always like to talk about those things because it breeds more negativity if people don't understand how to cope with it. And that's the main thing, is getting people understanding towards knowing how to deal with negative. Because there's nothing wrong with negative things. It's just how people react to negative things. So with that being said, I hope everybody has a fantastic week, trying to make these episodes evergreen so I can come back and listen to them and just see where I've been in my growth and see what's going on with the world. But as always, it's just my perspective. And up next is a sleeper of mine. Not sleeper, it's actually brand new music from Big Crit. Shout out to Big Crit, one of my favorite artists of coming up. He's probably not going to be a superstar, but I still fuck with him. He's my new Logic. But this is a new song from him, so I hope you enjoy. Hope you have a fabulous week. Hope you feel the love, feel blessed. Whatever you're going through, you will get through it because you're still listening if you're listening. And I'll catch you on the flip side.
Bass knocking in the motherfucking trunk. Bass knocking in the motherfucking trunk. Bass knocking in the motherfucking trunk. Bass knocking. It's the ballad of the bass, 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 bass. It's the ballad of the bass, 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 bass knocking. It's the ballad of the bass.
With a slab, was working the wheel, is gripping the grains. Carbon a bucket, but I'm like, fuck it, this shit banging. House with the speakers, live with the tweeters, really don't need them. Review the mirror, always shake it. If you behind me, I can't see you. I got 15 before I got rims, before I got paint. Sound like I'm down the street and I ain't round your way. Hitting so hard, I called a charge to be the case. They called the earthquake and the cover a sleeping giant that had to wake from my base.
Bass knocking in the motherfucking trunk. Bass knocking in the motherfucking trunk. Bass knocking in the motherfucking trunk. Bass knocking. It's the ballad of the bass, 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 bass. It's the ballad of the bass, 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 bass knocking. It's the ballad of the
bass head, bay line, scrunch your FaceTime, break spine. Take a marching band to make mine. Knocking doors down, need a hand of God to take mine. You can't hear shit unless you heard it through the grapevine. Woofing like a dog in the yard off the chain. Crank it like a set, I'ma let that bitch bang. Out the sword for the club, I'ma tear it out that frame. Crack the trunk like it's thunder, but you ain't seen no rain, it's a bass.
Bass knocking in the motherfucking trunk. Bass knocking in the motherfucking trunk. Bass knocking in the motherfucking trunk. Bass knocking. It's the ballad of the bass, 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 bass. It's the ballad of the bass, 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 bass knocking. It's the ballad of the bass knocking in the motherfucking trunk. Bass knocking in the motherfucking trunk. Bass knocking in the motherfucking trunk. Bass knocking. It's the ballad of the bass.
Take it up with my trunk. Popped up twice with the lights for the show when it thump. Ride around with my crew. Double I, double Y, swinging, got the box coming through. The trunk got the shakes, the trunk got the shakes. If you got the juice, then I got the bass. The trunk got the shakes, the trunk got the shakes. If you got the juice, then I got the bass. This ain't no factory shit, I blow your back in it bit. Might put a club in this hoe, don't know how to act in this whip. I'm pressing buttons, I'm diamond fisted, I'm Thanos gloving. Got plenty ladies, ain't talking sandwich when I'm talking subbing. Talking woofing, overheating like someone cooking. Sound like a monster, in my trunk got it out the bushes. To the max I push it, the highs and the low. Neon they show, tipping on foes, one bass I got more in the trunk. Take it up with my trunk, popped up twice with the lights for the show when it thump. Ride around with my crew, double I, double Y, swinging, got the the boss coming through. The trunk got the shakes, the trunk got the shakes.